I am doing my life thing again. I just dropped my daughter off at school. I'm headed to the gym to do yoga, and I figured out that this is a good time to talk about what's on my mind because I'm sitting in the car and I'm not doing anything special anyway. So, and as usual, like right now, like I told you, the traffic is always horrible. Just leaving my daughter's school, the traffic is horrible. Just trying to get out the parking lot. I guess this is what it's like to live in California. There's trade-offs. There's the beautiful weather, like it's not really cold, but you have traffic and it's expensive. It is expensive to live in California. I'm not gonna lie. Like I got an advertisement for a house in Florida for like 200K, like 3 bedrooms, and I don't know how I ended up on this list, but I definitely clicked the link to see what was going on, and I was like, wow, they're targeting California people because they know we're like, wow, a house for 200K, that's crazy, that's so cheap, and so yeah, but you couldn't pay me to move to Florida, like it's not worth living there because everything's backwards, like the people are backwards, the systems are backwards. Like it's not worth it. I don't want my child living in a state that the teachers, first of all, they're well, not the teachers. I won't say that, but the religious people are trying to force religion in the schools and take out African American studies. And I would never live in a red state. I've lived in a red state. I used to live in Georgia before I moved here, but that was the first and only. And yeah, you couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me. But that advertisement, I definitely clicked it. You got to click out of me, whatever housing place that was. It was Jacksonville, Florida. You definitely got to click because I was like, man, that is crazy. You can get a whole house for 200K. So they are targeting us, Californians, just so you know. Just be, you know, don't be tempted just to go buy a house to live in a red state because, yeah, sure, you can get cheap property, but then you're in a red state and then it's a nightmare. Like it's a whole different nightmare. So yeah, don't do it. But yeah, they're looking for us. They're trying to get to us. And yeah, they got me. They got my click. They got my click. I scrolled through all the pictures too, y'all. I scrolled through all the pictures because I was like, wow, whole house. Like that to me was like a funny moment. I was like, they totally got me on that. All right, so that wasn't what I wanted to talk about today, but it just popped in my head because of the traffic and living like right now. Okay, it rained this morning, but the sun is now out. That's the thing, California weather. It's I'm not. I have a jacket, but I don't have a coat, and it's the middle of December. Like that's what you get for living in California. That's the life you have in California. All right, but that's not what I want to talk about today. So I saw a bunch of posts yesterday regarding Blue Ivy, who is Beyonce and Jay Z's daughter, at the premiere, the Mufasa premiere, and it seemed like there was a lot of people upset at what this child was wearing. And so I was like, well, what was she wearing? Because I don't really pay attention like that. So I was like, let me go look at these photos because these people are truly upset. And of course, not shocked, she's wearing a princess dress. Because I kept seeing people like, oh, she was showing cleavage. And I'm like, first of all, 12-year-olds don't have cleavage. So to even use that term is weird. They might have developed bodies, but we're not saying that about children. But yeah, people were saying that. So I went and looked at the pictures and she's wearing a yellow princess dress, like similar to what a Disney princess would wear in a Disney movie at a Disney premiere. And it disturbs me how often adults try to sexualize children. I know that this society is full of pedophiles, and I know that they try to put the blame, especially on girls, for people being creepy towards them, for adults sexualizing. I know that they do this. I've known this. Calling girls fast has been a thing forever, but there's no girl fast enough to get the attention of an adult. That is just the adult being inappropriate and wrong. So, yeah, this picture that everybody's so upset about is not even something to be upset about. but it concerns me the amount of adults who are talking about her body. That's what concerns me. I'm very concerned that, that children can't be children. Like, she can't wear a princess dress without a bunch of people criticizing her. And what I noticed, okay, the other thing I noticed is like, okay, Beyonce and Jay Z have children. They have always been hypercritical of Blue Ivy, but then, what's it, Kanye and what's her name have children, and I think one of their kids dressed up like one of the popular rappers, and I didn't see much backlash. And what I noticed, even though to me those are both two little black girls, and you can get into whether they're not black or whatever, both of them are black girls to me, but one has a non-black mom, and her treatment is different from Blue Ivy. I mean, people have been criticizing Blue Ivy since she was a toddler for multiple reasons, but one I remember there was like outrage about her hair. People were like super outraged about her hair. And it reminds me how black children, or those who people consider black, are always uh, super criticized and always expected to stick within certain parameters of behavior, which outsiders deem acceptable. And I'll give you a perfect example of this because black children, that we like little black kids can't be kids. And here's a perfect example from my own childhood. I grew up in Washington, D.C. A lot of our field trips were to the Smithsonian Institution. If you don't know what the Smithsonian is, please go look it up. They have all of these wonderful museums, and the museums are free to get into in Washington, D.C. So they had all these museums, and when we were kids, our schools would take field trips to the museums. Now, when we went on these field trips, the expectation was we had to walk in line, we had to walk two by two, we couldn't be loud, we had to whisper, we couldn't run around, we couldn't do kid like stuff. We had to be super well behaved. Ooh, the sun is just really bright. We had to be super, super, super well behaved. Like, we could not cut up, and if we did, we would lose the privilege of going to the museum. So it would be, and I don't know if you guys know, but back in that time, DC was a majority black city, so the public schools were majority black. So these field trips would have like all black kids. It would be all black kids. So we would be at the museum, 20 plus of us, two by two lines, walking, quiet, being very respectful. And then other school groups would come in to the museum. And other school groups were usually not black. It was very unusual to see black school groups, and if they were from somewhere else. Most of the time, the only black kids you saw in the museums were from Washington, D.C. But the other school groups, generally majority white, those children would be running and screaming and throwing things and misbehaving, and nobody would say boo to them. No adult in their group would say anything. No adult who worked for the museums would say anything. Their behavior was not policed the way that our behavior was policed. Black children do not get the freedom of being children ever. We're always expected to behave. We're always expected to listen to adults. This is something that I have noticed for years and years, and it's something that I'm seeing happen with Blue Ivy and the other kid. They're about the same age. They're both black girls, although one has a non-black mom because I don't know, she's Persian or something. Blue Ivy's behavior, Blue Ivy can't live without somebody critiquing her, criticizing her. Kanye West's daughter, nobody says boo. Nobody's critiquing her. Nobody's saying anything. In fact, I know that if Blue Ivy did any of the things that Kanye's daughter was doing, because I don't even know her name, there would be some backlash. But there's no backlash because they don't consider her black. And that's what it is. Even though they're both black girls, that's what it is. They don't consider her black. She can be a child. She can live. She can make mistakes. She can do all those things. But Blue Ivy, you're going to get the hyper critique. Now, as a mom, I looked at those pictures with the premiere. She was dressed up. She looked very pretty. She's 12. I'm different in that my daughter, when my daughter was 12, I just didn't think that she needed any makeup. Now, that's a personal decision. I don't see anything wrong with 12-year-olds wearing makeup. It's just, I think about my daughter at that age. She never wanted to really, and I'm happy that she didn't. I just think kids should be kids, and I feel like makeup is just a lot. But that was it. But that's my personal opinion. I still don't see anything wrong with what she was wearing, etc. She was just at the premiere with her very famous family, doing what very famous people do. She's a celebrity child, and I think that people need to stop. Well, I think people should leave children out of it, but that's never going to happen. I feel like children should be off limits, but that's never going to happen. People really don't have any kind of like, you know, boundaries when it comes to what they feel like they can say about celebrities. Like when people are famous, they feel like they can say anything about them. And I get it. I get it. You out there, you got a public persona. People, you have to take critique from the public. But I feel like kids, it's unfair that children of celebrities get such harsh critique because they didn't ask to be born. So I feel like adults, like us public adults, should be able to say, oh, that child is not part of this, and to just leave the children alone. But that's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen. It's sad, but that's just the way life is. Anyway, I'm getting to the gym a little bit faster today than I was yesterday. The traffic wasn't quite as terrible as it has been this week. Speaking of that, tomorrow my daughter has an appointment with the orthodontist. So I don't know if I'm gonna go live tomorrow, but I'm gonna try. But it probably won't be around the same time that I've been doing it, just because she has an appointment during that time. So, but I may or may not go live tomorrow. We will see, because I still have to drop her off at school, and I probably will still go to the gym after I drop her off at school. We will see how that goes. But yeah. Anyway. Whew. So, the other thing I was thinking about, because this is my time to randomly think. Okay, so I get that times are hard for a lot of people, and I get that a lot of people are struggling mentally, mental health and stuff like that. But one of the things that even I work on is this general idea of what makes someone happy. And one of the things that I recognized a long time ago was that my happiness was my responsibility. And that was not something that anyone told me when I was growing up, and something I actually tell my child, like, you're responsible for yourself, your mental wellness, your happiness. That's your responsibility. You have to work on those things yourself. But a lot of people feel that happiness comes from somewhere outside of themselves, and it doesn't. Because even with everything that I'm going through right now, and I don't tell you guys everything I'm going through, but my life is pretty challenging. It's pretty challenging. I've had some ups and downs, especially over the past couple of years. I think some of you may know that I went through a breakup, stuff like that. Life is kind of challenging. It's kind of challenging. I've done that. I've gone through some challenges. There's a big truck in front of me, y'all. Okay. But one of the things I can say after going through so many challenges is even in this position that I'm in right now, which isn't perfect, still hardship for me sometimes, I'm still pretty happy. And that's because I realize that my happiness depends on me. And one of the messages, especially, like, I don't know if you guys check my morning post, like, I always try to post a positive message every day because I realize there's so much negativity in the world. We got to get some positivity going. We got to, especially with these upcoming 4 years, like, I'm trying to be a buffer and, like, say, look, we got to stay focused, y'all, and stay on our, like, living our lives in the best way we can despite whatever's going on. And that's always an everyday thing. No matter what's happening, you got to try to find the positive way through it. So I post every day and I talk about it. But the other thing is I want everyone to realize that if you're unhappy, if you're an unhappy person, if you're miserable, and that doesn't mean, you just suddenly think your way out of it. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're feeling unhappy and you don't like your life, you need to sit and think about what you as you yourself need to do to change your circumstances to make yourself feel better, because it is your responsibility to make yourself happy, to make yourself feel better. That is you. That's what you have to do. And if you do that, and it's not easy, again, not an easy thing to do. Sometimes you have to make these really hard decisions that are really painful. But once you make those decisions, once you go through the pain, you realize that all of that you went through, all of that hardship, all of that, discovery of this is what I needed to do to get my life in a place where I wanted it to be. Once you do all of that, then you start to feel better about your life. You feel much better, you're much happier, and that's you taking responsibility for your life. That's what you really want to do. Oh, it's a parking space, guys. You know how I get happy about my parking spaces. It's one right at the front. So yeah, you got to take responsibility for your own life, for your own life choices. And like I said, it doesn't mean things are perfect. It does not mean that. Life is never perfect. It will never be, you know, all the time perfect. It will never be that. It will always be challenges. It will always be ups and downs. It will always be something. But how you approach it, how you think about it, how you decide to get through it, that's on you. And it's a life changing, like this year, it's been life changing for me. Really focusing on myself, not letting people take advantage of me, making sure that I am doing the things that I want to do to put me in a position that makes me more comfortable. So yeah, all of those things are important, especially for women. So if there are women out there watching, and I hope there are women watching, ladies, we've been programmed from childhood to put other people's needs before our own, and that doesn't work. That just burns us out. So you got to reprogram yourself and put your needs first, even before your children. Your needs come first. Because as the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to put yourself first, and the better you're doing, the better your children will do. Trust me, I've done this. I put myself first, life changing. Things are going well. My daughter is doing so well because I'm doing better. I'm doing better in so many ways, especially mentally. So, ladies, always, first of all, you got to take responsibility for your life and for how you're feeling and for what's going on. And again, it's not easy. It's just you have to like push forward. Hi, Kyla. Good morning. I'm just seeing, like, I just stopped. So, yeah, you have to push forward and do the hard stuff, but make sure that you're taking responsibility. Like, if I'm not happy with this, I'm going to change it. If this is not working for me, I'm going to find something that does work, because it comes down to you being responsible for you and your well-being, and nobody else is going to do it for you. Let me tell you something. These people, like, there are people in the world who care. There are. But for the most part, those people are rare. So if you have somebody in your life that genuinely cares about you, that is amazing. That's a gift. Take care of that person. But for the most part, people do not give a damn. So the only person that's going to care about you is you. So you got to get out there and make sure you're taking care of you. You got to put you first. So make sure you're putting yourself first. You're taking care of yourself. You are exercising and eating right and drinking your water and going after your goals. Do all of those things for you, because that's what's important. Anyway, I am getting ready to head into the gym. This is going to be my last day of yoga this week, y'all, because I'm tired. Plus, I can't go tomorrow. I already told you. Again, thank you all for watching. It's weird, but I appreciate it. I will continue to do these lives because apparently you guys like them and you're watching them, so I'm going to keep doing them. Usually after I drop my daughter off at school and I'm headed to the gym. Tomorrow, if I do go live, it's going to be later than normal. I'm usually on about 8:30ish. So I won't be 8:30ish Pacific time. So I probably won't be that early tomorrow if I do it, because, again, she has an orthodontist appointment. But, yeah, thank you for watching. I'm going to work on a video maybe today. But I put up, if you didn't watch my videos yesterday, I put up like 2 videos. So go watch those, please. and leave comments and like and interact and all that stuff. What else? As always, if you have a subject that you want me to discuss on the morning live, hit me up on my socials. So I'm Kinda Cole on Facebook. I'm Kinda Cole on Twitter. I'm Kai Fly Mommy on Instagram and also on Threads. Please follow me on any platform you're on. Please follow. And yeah. Thank you. And then I'm gonna struggle to get off of this thing like I always do. I see somebody from India. Oh wow. Hi from India. I appreciate it. Anyway, like thank you for watching as always, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow. All right. All right. Now y'all gonna watch me struggle to get off this thing. Okay. There we go. And